Have you ever been in the middle of your day, maybe working, relaxing, or even laughing, when suddenly out of nowhere, a thought cuts through your peace like a dark cloud? What if I fail? What if everything goes wrong? What if I'm just not good enough? These thoughts don't knock before entering. They arrive uninvited, quiet at first, then louder, heavier until they feel like the truth. They steal your focus, your calm, your confidence. But pause for a moment. Take a breath. Here's something powerful to remember. You are not your thoughts. A thought is just a passing cloud across the wide, open sky of your mind. It may look dark, it may rumble with thunder, but the sky remains vast and untouched. You are that sky. Failing doesn't make you a failure. Feeling fear doesn't make you weak. And having doubts doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're human, alive, aware, and learning. When the storm of negative thoughts starts to rise, don't fight it. Fighting only gives it more energy. Instead, do something radically simple. Stop, breathe, notice. Let the breath anchor you, in, out, until you can see the thought for what it is, a temporary visitor. Not a prophecy, not your truth. You are the awareness behind the thought, the calm witness, the still ocean beneath the waves, and in that awareness, the storm begins to fade. So next time your mind whispers, "What if I fail?" Smile softly and say, "This too will pass," because the sky was never afraid of its clouds, and neither should you be. You know that moment when your mind just won't be quiet? You try to focus, to relax, but the thoughts keep coming, uninvited, loud, and endless. And that's what we'll explore in the first part of today's video. Understanding intrusive thoughts, those sudden mental visitors that seem to appear out of nowhere. The human brain is like a ceaseless river, constantly flowing with memories, images, warnings, ideas. Most of these thoughts simply pass through, like leaves drifting downstream. But some get stuck. They circle around, replaying again and again. Those are intrusive thoughts. They're the thoughts that whisper, "What if I lose control? What if something bad happens? Or what if I'm not good enough?" They feel powerful, but here's the truth. They don't define who you are. An intrusive thought is not a reflection of your character. It doesn't reveal some dark truth about you. It's just mental noise, static on the radio of the mind. But when we panic, when we try to force them away, we unknowingly feed them. Like struggling in quicksand, the more you fight, the deeper you sink. Have you ever noticed how the harder you try not to think of something, the stronger it returns? That's the mind's paradox. Resistance becomes attachment. The more we resist, the more energy we give it. So the way out is not through control, but through awareness. You can't stop the clouds from moving across the sky, but you can remember, you are the sky. You can't silence every thought, but you can rest in the stillness that exists beneath them. When you observe a thought instead of fighting it, something beautiful happens. The distance between you and the thought widens. You begin to see, this isn't me. This is just passing through. Imagine sitting by a busy street. Cars rush by, some loud, some strange, some frightening. You don't have to chase them, stop them, or judge them. You simply watch them pass. That's what it means to practice mindfulness with your thoughts. And slowly, you begin to feel something shift inside. The thoughts are still there, but they no longer have the same grip. You breathe, you soften, and you realize peace doesn't come from a silent mind. It comes from not being ruled by it. So the next time an intrusive thought appears, remember, you don't need to push it away or believe it. Just see it, name it, and let it drift by. Like a wave returning to the ocean it came from. You are not the storm. You are the calm after the storm. You are the clear sky that remains untouched, no matter how many clouds pass through. Sometimes when we finally start to see that we are not our thoughts, a question quietly appears. If these thoughts aren't truly me, then why do they keep coming back? That's what we'll gently explore next in this part of today's video. When the mind overprotects you, why negative thoughts arise. The mind in its essence isn't your enemy. It's more like a loyal guard dog, always watching, always alert, trying to keep you safe. It barks not because it hates, but because it wants to protect. But here's the problem. Sometimes this inner guard becomes too alert. It starts barking at shadows, reacting to things that aren't dangerous at all. A word, a memory, a small mistake. And suddenly the alarm goes off as if the house is on fire. That's how intrusive thoughts are born. They are not signs of weakness or madness. They are the echoes of a mind that cares too much. Think of your brain as a finely tuned survival machine. Its purpose for millions of years has been to detect threats, physical, emotional, or social. When you've experienced stress, trauma, or exhaustion, this system becomes hypersensitive. Every sound feels like danger. Every possibility of failure feels like a real threat. It's as if the fire alarm goes off every time you make tea, even when there's no fire. And yet, when this happens, we often get angry with ourselves. We scold the mind for being noisy, anxious, messy. But imagine yelling at that loyal dog who's only trying to keep you safe. It doesn't calm the dog, does it? It only makes it bark louder. So instead of fighting your thoughts, try to comfort them. You can gently say, "Thank you for trying to protect me. I know you mean well, but I'm safe right now." This is not pretending everything is fine. It's teaching the mind a new truth. Because when you speak to your fear with kindness, something inside you softens. The barking quiets down. The storm begins to pass. Over time, this small act of compassion changes everything. You stop living as a prisoner of your alarms. You begin to live as the watcher, calm, awake, free. This is how awareness transforms fear. Not by silencing it, but by understanding it. Like a parent soothing a frightened child, you don't say, "Stop crying." You say, "I'm here." And just like that, the child, or your mind, feels safe enough to rest. So when the next intrusive thought shouts for attention, pause, breathe, and remember, your mind isn't broken. It's just doing its job a little too well. You don't need to fix it, just guide it home. Because deep beneath all that noise, there is stillness. And within that stillness, your true nature, peaceful, vast, and unshaken, is waiting. There's a quiet moment after you begin to calm your mind, when the barking fades, and you finally feel a bit of peace. But then, almost without warning, another wave of thoughts arrives. They whisper, "What if it happens again? What if you fail this time?" And so the storm begins once more. That's where we'll go next in today's journey. The price of believing every thought. The truth is, the human mind is a master storyteller. It takes a single worry and spins it into an entire tragedy. One small what if becomes a dozen. If I fail, people will be disappointed. Then I'll lose everything. Maybe I'm not good enough after all. Without noticing, we become trapped inside our own imagination. And the body, loyal as ever, believes every word. The heart races, the breath shortens, the muscles tense, as if the disaster were happening right now. But it isn't. It's only the echo of an old fear, a voice from the past still trying to warn you. Yet when you believe it completely, that echo becomes your reality. You see, every time we identify with our thoughts, we hand them the keys to our inner world. We let strangers walk into our home and rearrange the furniture of our peace. We climb onto every passing train of worry, even the ones heading nowhere. And then we wonder why we feel lost. The truth is simple, but hard to accept. Not every thought deserves your trust. Most of them are just noise, a mix of memories, fears, and predictions that never come true. Imagine standing by a busy road. Cars rush by, some beautiful, some noisy, some broken. Would you try to stop every single one? Of course not. You'd simply stand on the sidewalk watching them pass. Your thoughts work the same way. When you stop chasing them, you discover something profound. You were never the traffic. You are the sky above it. The sky doesn't change because a storm passes through. Your true nature remains vast, unshaken, silent. Believing every thought is the most subtle form of suffering. Because it looks harmless, it feels like thinking. But it quietly steals your freedom. And when you stop believing, when you simply observe, a miracle happens. The mind begins to trust you again. It realizes it doesn't need to shout to be heard. So next time a thought tells you, you can't handle this, pause, breathe, and gently ask, is that really true? Or is it just an old story I've heard too many times? You are not your thoughts. You are the witness, the awareness that sees them come and go. And the moment you remember that, peace returns like sunlight breaking through clouds. Let this be your quiet reminder. Freedom doesn't come from controlling your thoughts. It comes from no longer being controlled by them. And with that understanding, we'll go deeper in the next part of our journey, exploring how mindfulness and meditation can help us step out of the storm completely. You can't stop thoughts from appearing. No one can. But you can change the way you see them. And that change, though quiet and invisible, transforms everything. Let's take the next gentle step together. Meeting the mind with awareness. When a thought arises, most people fall into it instantly. It says, you're not good enough, and we believe it. It says, something bad is coming, and we tense up. We don't even realize we've been pulled into the story again. But the practice of awareness begins right there, with one simple acknowledgement. This is just a thought. That small sentence is powerful. It's the moment the spell breaks. You no longer drown in the ocean of thinking. You rise above it, breathing again. A space opens up between you and the mind. In that space lives your freedom. Imagine clouds moving across the sky. Some are soft and light, some dark and heavy. They may block the sun for a while, but none of them ever touch the sky itself. The sky remains untouched, vast, silent, eternal. Your awareness is that sky. Thoughts are only passing clouds. So instead of fighting the mind, learn to greet it. When a thought comes, you can say, welcome, I see you. You may stay or you may go. This gentle attitude dissolves resistance, and what we stop resisting loses its power. Awareness doesn't silence thoughts. It simply stops you from being controlled by them. It's not about emptying your mind, but expanding your consciousness until thoughts become small ripples on a vast ocean of stillness. At first, this may feel strange. Your mind will keep trying to pull you back. But what about this? What if that happens? It's okay. Smile at it, the way you would smile at a child learning to walk. Every time you remember to notice, you strengthen awareness. And awareness, unlike thought, doesn't need to win. It just needs to be. Eventually, a subtle shift happens. You realize that peace was never lost. It was only hidden beneath the noise. And when you stop fighting your thoughts, peace naturally returns. Not because the clouds are gone, but because you've remembered. You are the sky. So today, don't try to silence your mind. Just notice it kindly, as you would watch waves rising and falling. Between those waves lies stillness, and that stillness is you. And with that gentle knowing, we'll move to the final part, where we explore how to live with an open heart, even when the mind is still noisy. You've learned how thoughts arise, how they trick us, and how awareness can set us free. Now let's walk together into something more tangible, the tools you can use every day to bring that calm into real life. Because wisdom isn't just about understanding, it's about practice. And practice done gently and consistently changes everything. So let's breathe together and step into the next part of our journey. Practical tools to calm the mind and reclaim peace. 1. Mindful breathing, coming home to the present. When the storm of thought begins, return to the simplest thing you have, your breath. Breathe in. Know that you're breathing in. Breathe out. Know that you're breathing out. That's it. No need to force anything. The breath doesn't ask for effort. It only asks for attention. Each time you notice your mind drifting, don't judge it. Just smile and gently guide it back to the rhythm of your breathing. It's like returning home after being lost for a while. Your breath is the anchor in the waves of your mind. It doesn't stop the ocean, but it reminds you that you are not the storm. You are the one watching it pass. 2. Thought journaling. Emptying the cup. Sometimes the mind feels too crowded. That's when writing becomes a doorway to peace. Take a pen, take a piece of paper, and just write down what's in your head. No editing, no judging. Let it flow. As you see those words on the page, something shifts. What once felt overwhelming now looks small, almost harmless. It's as if you've taken the noise from inside your mind and placed it gently outside. Then ask yourself one question: is this really true? Often you'll find that most thoughts don't hold up under the light of awareness. You begin to see that thoughts aren't facts, they're only passing weather. 3. Compassionate perspective, softening the inner voice. Every mind has shadows. Everyone has strange, unwanted, or dark thoughts at times. It doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're human. When those thoughts come, don't fight them or curse yourself. Instead, speak gently. My mind is just trying to protect me. This shift from judgment to compassion is the heart of healing. You stop being the victim of your thoughts and instead become their kind teacher. Compassion doesn't mean weakness. It means strength rooted in understanding. And that understanding allows you to live with more openness, less fear, and a quieter heart. Each of these tools, the breath, the journal, compassion, is like a doorway. They don't erase thoughts, but they help you walk through them with grace. And the more often you return to these practices, the more peaceful the mind becomes. Because peace isn't a gift you wait for. It's something you practice, one gentle moment at a time. So as we move toward the final reflection, remember this: you don't need to escape your mind. You just need to learn how to hold it, softly like you would hold a frightened bird. And in that tenderness, it will quiet itself. There comes a point in every inner journey when you realize peace was never about getting rid of your thoughts. It was about making peace with them. Because the truth is, the mind will always speak, but you can choose how to listen. So as we continue the path in today's video, we move into a quiet but powerful truth. Transformation through acceptance. The calm beyond resistance. We spend so much of our lives trying to silence the noise inside our heads, pushing away fear, guilt, regret, or anger, hoping that if we fight hard enough, they'll disappear. But have you noticed? The more you push them down, the louder they come back. Like a ball pressed beneath water, bursting up with even more force. The mind doesn't calm through resistance. It softens through allowance. So what if, instead of fighting your thoughts, you simply said, I see you, and I allow you to be here? That one small act, seeing without judging, is where transformation begins. Because thoughts lose their power when they're no longer your enemies. When you no longer resist, you stop feeding them with energy. And like waves without wind, they begin to fade on their own. Let's pause and imagine this. You're standing by the ocean, watching waves rise and fall. Some are gentle, some are rough. But you don't need to stop them. You just watch. And as you do, a deeper stillness awakens within you, a silence untouched by the movement of the sea. That's equanimity, the calm center of awareness. Not indifference, but deep acceptance. A strength that doesn't depend on calm seas because it has learned how to stand steady in the storm. This practice of allowing is not surrendering in defeat. It is surrendering to truth. It's choosing not to fight what already is. It's the moment you realize that even your most painful thought is just another wave passing through the vastness of your mind. So when a negative thought arises tomorrow, try something simple. Smile at it. Welcome it like an old guest who once scared you, but whom you now see clearly. Say to it, hello again. I know you. You can stay for a while if you like. And notice, the moment you stop fighting, peace walks back in quietly, like sunlight after rain. Acceptance doesn't make the storms disappear. It makes you the sky, vast, unshaken, infinite. And in that space of awareness, even pain becomes a teacher. Even fear becomes a friend. That is the essence of true transformation. Not through control, but through compassion. Not through resistance, but through understanding. When you allow life to be as it is, you don't lose power, you discover it. When you finally stop running from your thoughts, something miraculous happens. The storm quiets. Not because the clouds vanish, but because you realize you were never trapped inside them. You were the sky all along. Every anxious thought, every dark whisper in your mind is not a prophecy. It's a fragment of fear asking to be seen, understood, and released. When you stop judging these voices, they lose their grip. You begin to notice a subtle silence underneath, the stillness that has always been there, waiting patiently for you to come home. Peace is not a reward for control. It's the natural state that emerges when you no longer fight. It's what remains when you stop trying to fix yourself and start embracing the truth. There was never anything wrong with you. The next time a thought shouts, "You're not enough," smile gently. The next time fear whispers, "What if you fail?" answer softly, "Then I'll learn." The next time your heart tightens in doubt, breathe deeply and say, "Thank you, mind, for trying to protect me, but I'm safe now." At that moment, something shifts. The thought dissolves and a quiet strength takes its place, a calm clarity that no storm can touch. That is freedom. And from that freedom flows compassion for yourself, for others, for the shared humanity that connects us all. You realize everyone you meet is also carrying storms within, some louder, some quieter, but beneath every storm is the same clear sky. So as you listen to these words, take a deep breath. Feel your chest rise and fall, proof that you're still here, still growing, still capable of peace. You don't have to believe every thought. You only need to see it, smile, and let it pass. If this message touched something within you, take a moment to pause before you scroll away. Ask yourself, what thought am I ready to release today? Share it below, not just as a comment, but as an act of liberation. And if you found even one moment of stillness in this video, promise yourself to return, because in the next one, we'll go even deeper into that space of awareness, where thoughts end and presence begins. Remember, you are not broken. You are awakening, and every breath is a doorway home. Let's walk this path together, one mindful breath at a time.